to have been asked to talk about my experiences and motivation behind Darul Muslimin Orphanage. Okay, yeah. How I got into the journey. Okay, I believe it all begins with when you are young and your parents sort of talk to you. You watch them do stuff and how they implant their knowledge into you. Like I remember very clearly when I was about 12, I just finished my primary education. It was Ramadan and my father sat me on the table with the English translation of the Quran and said, "This is your life." It was very difficult because it was Marmaduke Pitol, the very, very old edition. Tola bada words ye hoy ne dine and die. It was so difficult, but from that day onwards, that is what was my companion till today. Even now when I go to my father's home, he's now very old, 90, but you see him with his torch because he can't see, with the Quran in his hands, you know. So we get to know what our Creator is telling us, and we all know inside ourselves that He wants us to do something. We all have to do something, but we sort of sit behind and say, "Ha, kale karsu." There's always a tomorrow, right? કરશું કરવાનું છે મને હા કરીશું જો મારા પાસે હમણાં પૈસા નથી હું કેવી કરીશ let me earn more, let all these things come in your way. And so that's how it was with me as well. I used to love children. I couldn't bear to see them being someone being cruel to them, and I used to wonder what would uplift them. Morogoro, you see those little kids selling karanga and you wonder, yala આ લોકોને અમે કેવી education આપશું, કંઈ તો કરવું જોઈએ, ભૂલી જવાય છે. We don't do anything, see. So that's how it always is. Kale kale che. It's never the right time if we are just waiting. And then time passes, and then you go through a traumatizing experience, devastating experience, and that jerks you up and wakes you up. Now with that experience, you want God near you. As we say, God is as close as we perceive Him to be, and as far as we think Him to be, right? So we need Him near us, for Him to comfort us in our terrible times. Now how do I connect to Him? I've left Him for so long. Suddenly kete mara paase avse, ne? So I have to do something to get close to Him. So what do? Here my husband's support was invaluable. He's a very kind man, and he always sort of tries to understand what I want and what I need, and he said, "Fine, we'll do what you want. What do you want to do?" So every Thursday, I would go out with him and the kids. I'd make the milk in the morning, doodh no sharbat, and some cookies. And we would go to these madrasas far away. Sunni madrasa hata bada Morogoro ma. We'd go look for them. Waje ne me distribute kare. Bacha hoy gana bada. You'd see them so poor in those days. I always feel આ કોના માટે કંઈ કરવું જોઈએ, પણ શું મને સમજ ના આવે, નહીં? And then I asked my husband, what if we rent a home somewhere, and those boys who didn't get a chance to study, who don't have parents, can come and live there. We can keep someone to look after them. We'll provide them with food. See, we always have to start with something very small, and then it grows, right? So that's what we did. We found a house that had a rent of 10,000 shillings. It didn't have electricity, no water, nothing. ખાલી એક રૂમ હતો બચ્ચા માટે. There was a bathroom and the matron room, you can say. Even finding the matron is a problem. કોઈક સારો હોવો જોઈએ, નહીં? So there was a boy who wanted to do secondary education, and we helped him out. So his mother was very thankful to us and said, "I will look after these children if you let me, on a payment basis, of course." And that's how we just started out. With just 4 children, we got them schools in class 1 because they were not that young. 7 વર્ષના હતા, નહીં? 7-8. And we used to go look after them in the afternoons. They would come to my home. I'd give tuitions, English ma ne badu. They would go to these ordinary schools, dur hatu. And this house we found was just 10 minutes away from my own home. So I could visit them, walking distance hatu. And due to this, I found peace within myself, looking after these children. And ek vasuti biju vasu, like we said, God expands your project for you, right? In Ramadan, then I started feeding children from other madrasas. They would come to my home. We'd have a maulid. They would do iftar there. We'd give them a little gift. Emam karta, I found peace within myself. And my traumatizing experience, I forgot to mention, it was just that I had delivered my son, and at that time the doctor told me, oh, it was such a hard delivery, he might be brain damaged or એનામાં કંઈ ખામી હોય. So what do you do at that time? તમે તો ઓલા થઈ જાઓ, દબ થઈ જાઓ ને. It hurts you. You don't know what to do. So that is what brought all this about. કે ના હવે હું શું કરું ખુદાના બાજુમાં જવાને કે ઈ મારું સાંભળે. Of course he is hearing, he'll hear you at all times. But then I wanted to do that something extra, that he would give me his attention. His attention is there, but you know that. So that's how it all started. When you want to bring comfort to the children, you sit, you talk to them, and when they respond, it gives you such a nice feeling inside you, okay, bas you're doing something for somebody else other than yourself. I know it's difficult because when you just begin, there are so many things that come in your way, makes it difficult. But this turned out to be a very rewarding experience for me, because હું શરૂ કરી, and believe it, within a couple of months I got such a good job offer at the Morogoro International School. And when I joined them, they liked my work. They offered free education for all my 3 kids. So mara bacha mota thya, I didn't have to pay a penny. Believe me. So we are just saying God doesn't waste your efforts. He rewards you immediately. You know, આખિરત નો જુદું, પણ દુનિયામાં તમે તરત જ દેખાડી લે છે કે જો, I was so surprised કે મને કેમ મારા બચ્ચા now they are studying free, just because I looked after the 4 poor children, you know. And slowly then it started expanding, more children started coming in, and you know, they say Allah bizikrillahi tatma'innul qulub. Yeah, when we uplift others, we experience this inner peace. There was a story of like Imam Hassan. People used to just, I don't know if it's Sunni hadith or a Shia hadith, people would just pass by his house to see his face because it was so illuminated. Now why? Because our Ahlul Bayt are the walking, talking Quran, right? They will read it and implement and act. અમે શું કરે છે, અમે વાંચે છે, સમજે છે, પણ પછી કંઈ કરતા નથી. We are not motivated enough to do something about it. We just have to force ourselves and know that God wants us to act. And when we don't act, He will bring about an element or an event in your life where you just have to do it. You know, it's like તમે જ્યાં કાંકરા ફેંકી દેશે કે you have to turn and say no, I have to do it, and that's it. And He makes it easy for you in the beginning because it's your first time. So you will get that motivation and you will do it. The biggest thing is to keep it going. ઈ જરાક તકલીફ પડે છે. We even say Bibi Fatima at such a young age, so she died, but before her death she was known as the leader of the ladies. How did she achieve such a great status? Because since a young age she implemented what she learned from the Quran. That's what I believe. Of course her father was the beloved prophet ને બધું હતું, પણ એનું પણ effort એટલું બધું હતું. એ ખોબેયા નહીં કે ના, when I become rich I will do this. She just did it as she grew up. So she could achieve so much, and she died so young. Until today we all remember her. So I take them as role models for myself. What would they have done if they were in my place? But still I had to wait for such a long time before I took any action. So that is what I'm trying to tell you. If you have an idea, something however insignificant, work on it and just do it. Do not wait for the right time, because the right time never comes. Then I also wanted to say, you have always to ask yourself what motivates you. What is it that will make you into a better person in your own way? Not all of us are bound to be teachers. Everyone has their own speciality, and God wants to bring that out of us. So we have to think and we have to write down and work on it every day, and then it will just come around. Now, many times these devastating events in our lives are meant to wake us up and act. Okay? Okay. Now for you to act, what are the criteria you have to follow according to what I have experienced? First is your sincerity. Whatever you do, it has to be only for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and for nobody else. You have to be very sincere. And then start small. They say the journey of 1,000 miles begins with that one step, the first step, however small it is. And then slowly then it grows. Right? Don't give up. That is, stay motivated and trust Allah. He will expand your project slowly from stage to stage. You can even say that my experience, my effort can be just 1% of what I have achieved, and 99% and more than that is all God's push and favor and everything. So we just have to give that 1% and you give so much more. Allah does the rest really. Then you develop a thick skin to criticism. This is very important. I know I have if I had put up a thick skin and not got so much hurt by criticism, I might have even achieved more. But apa mahu ini, am kidu mane, am boilu, em na kabu joy. No, tum pote jem kei dichu. And then don't expect it to be easy. Mekechane inna malu yusra. With difficulty comes ease. So the difficulties are there. And it is wrong for us to think that hame bas tawakkal kar lida khuda upar, so now everything will go easy. But no, even tawakkal kara baad we get so many trials and tribulations. They are part of challenges. The challenges in the beginning was funding as usual. Budi pastama funding to khape. So I even went out of my way to organize these fun fairs, fetes for women, and all the women, the Arabs, the Bada Avi, and I would raise a lot of money on that. So we did a couple of those things. And then slowly when the money started coming in, people got to know about the orphanage, then they would donate slowly until we are okay now. And the biggest challenge I could say was moving to Dar es Salaam. From Morogoro, Baduhatu, I had a wonderful job, I had everything, people knew me. I mean, everything was wonderful then in the end. And then I had to come to Dar es Salaam because, well, Akbar's parents were all, they needed us. My mother was sick. So bas pachi ame wrap up kaira Morogoro ma, and we came to Dar. Anya pachi it's a different story altogether. Baddu farithi sharu karano to and to keep in touch with the orphanage. But that's when we really grew. Because anya more people came to know about the orphanage, and they used to see us go there every other week. So then everything got better in the end, alhamdulillah. That's all, that's my story. What about you people? You must also have gone through some kind of experience, right? How did you come across to overcome them? What are your experiences?
Was it difficult for you to run that orphanage from that?
Not really, because nowadays we have the communication systems, right? So I'm always on the phone with them. We have got the CCTVs, so I know what's going on, and there's constant, and everything is in place, sort of, right? Well, I started with the boys. Slowly they became many. Then we had the girls' orphanage. Then we had the mosque building. Then we had the hausa there, a small hausa. So I find when it's corona thing, when it's shop not this hausa rakhwana, to be very frank. But it comes about because the mosque is there. You feel mosque empty. Have so kare me wando me nano kai banso very poor boys who couldn't get secondary education can be housed there. And then you do a QT course to give them a chance at a certificate for secondary schooling. So things then happen, slowly they expand in all ways, and suddenly you find you are in charge of more than you bargained for. But then it helps, and you can do it, so you do it. That's
challenges share કરશો કે જે તમે ફેસ કરો છો and then how it gets overcome, if you're okay to share.
Like
biggest challenges તમારા શું છે?
હમણાં માટે what I would okay, finance is one of them, but it does come in. People do donate for the food, and anyway, what is there, we do have some in the bank. So if there is a project, like I tell you, Jo mane aanu jarur che, you tell your contacts, તમને મળે તો ઠીક, ના મળે then we take it from the bank, so we are okay like that. But I feel I want to do more on the part that I can have more volunteers to do something for the children. More counseling would help. નહીં, હમણાં ડૉક્ટર શાઇના આવ્યા હતા and she really did a good job. And but I feel એવા કંઈ હોય ને groups to go there and do something with the children, they feel more appreciated. એમાં કોઈ આવતું નથી because it's far away. ને હમણાં એટલું ટ્રાફિકનું પ્રોબ્લેમ્સ છે તો we do have a problem with visitors. કોઈ આવતું નથી એમાં. So I would like that, the children to learn something, some skills, કોઈને કંઈ આવડતું હોય, and just the love to share with them. I think that is where I'm going right now. I feel I should rectify that part of it. Yeah.
કેટલા સ્ટુડન્ટ્સ સાથે પહેલા 50 કેટલા છે?
We started with just 4. And the surprising thing is, well, 4 માંથી the first one I saw, I set my eyes on. He is called Ali. Today he is the supervisor of the orphanage. Yeah, he got his wife and children and they're all staying there living, and he's taking care of the place. And he will do exactly what I tell him. He follows my instructions to the dot. He was brought up by us all. It's just like a family. So it's really worked out well for me. Someone who knows the place since start. He was the first boy, and today he's looking after the place. Yeah.
You should share more pictures, because the first pictures we saw and now are very different. I mean, you grow really on the girls' side.
Oh yeah, I didn't mention. I should have, yeah. Maybe I can send you the pictures sometime.
Maybe
They are
you
loads.
can tell us a little about the pictures that we put up, because she's a very, very modest, humble person. She didn't want to have, and she doesn't even know that I picked up these pictures from the internet.
I'm
and put them.
surprised.
She doesn't know about this.
So relaxed, so I know.
Exactly. So why don't you tell us?
Yeah.
Why don't you share? Share them.
Yes,
because
please do come.
It's under the same
Yeah.
subject.
If you speak something, then someone else will say something also.
Come.
Yeah.
You have been with her so much.
Come.
Come, Sam.
She's been such a good support. I take her with me many times when I go, and she always looks for those little things that I miss out. 3 suras. Yeah. Come sit here.
All right, okay. What I want to share is what I have seen of her and how hard working she and her husband, the hard work they put in to run this orphanage. It's a very difficult job. For me, when I go, I just go there for a weekend and I spend some time with the children and I see the challenges that she goes through. But it has really grown from what it was to what it is now. Like the amount of children, the boys who are there. And the best part is there's a mosque there. The children proclaim the azan when it's time for prayers. One of them leads the prayers. The others follow. Right from Fajr time. It's so nice and peaceful in the morning. You see all the children. Because now even the girls, after she put the girls' orphanage, was another challenge because not very many people were in favor of girls being there, because looking after girls is quite difficult. It's more challenging looking after girls, because everybody said after they grow up and what will happen, how will you handle these girls when they leave the orphanage. Okay, that's another story. But even the young girls, they started like, how old were they, the first ones who came?
2.5.
3.5. So imagine 2.5-year-old children being mothered there. She has good matrons who really look after them. But they also wake up in the morning. I can see them, they are going into sajda and sometimes they are falling asleep. But they have to wake up because it's part of the curriculum. Waking up for namaz, being there, Quran recitation, all these we have these wafats and kushalis, celebrations. So we make them feel that it is a happy day or a sad day. In Muharram we have majlises and children from other houses come and we have niyaz for them. So making them feel making them be part of our religion even, so they should pick up whatever we teach them. The girls' orphanage is a very nice place, and I would encourage, even if you have to go as a group, hire a bus or something. The girls also have their own place, their own mosque where they praying room, their dining room, and the best part is the discipline. Sometimes, like our children, when we come you can put it on. When you compare it to our children, when they are hungry, they need food. But these children, they are so patient. They wait, they pray, they wait, they all sit in a line, the food is brought to them, they eat well, they eat in a very, in a very, not systematic, but so disciplined way, It's young girls. The best part is, the other part that I should mention is they're so self-sufficient. They have their own shamba, whereby they grow crops, and most of the crops are organic, and they're brought to, they cook the same food that they grow. So they, economically, they're saving up on that, like the vegetables, spinach, tomatoes, coconuts, ladyfingers, chilies, all these things that we need every day. They have a nice small shamba where they get the food from there and it's cooked and the children eat. They celebrate birthdays of children. So it's a home where the children are so satisfied and they feel so much at home. And I personally feel it's such a, I always tell her that when you go to heaven, please hold my hand, because you're definitely going to be at the door of it. Because I don't have what's such a noble task that she's doing, and she's very humble, like Nasreen said. Doesn't make a show, but she goes through lots of challenges. When children become sick, sending them to the hospital, they have to be vaccinated. When the young ones come, all those vaccinations they need, it's all done by her. It's all under her instructions. They even have tuitions for children. Like teachers come, they outsource teachers who come and teach them for reading, for the core subjects. They have a very nice library. Children sit there and read. They have lots of games, and Eid is such a good function for them. Everybody gets their own goodie bag, so they feel so wanted. And I'm sure we say that they are orphans, but they don't feel that gap, because they're really fed well, looked after well, and there's nothing more I can say. I really say she's doing a marvelous job. A marvelous job.
You've been such a nice support. Okay. Through word of mouth. When first started, it was through word of mouth, and then they themselves do come. And then many times they come themselves. Like there was such a sad story of a mother bringing her own child there. He was called Aziz. He came there and said, "Please look after my kid." I didn't know why. You are alive. Why would you want your child there? In fact, she had AIDS, which she was scared of telling me. So somehow I saw her situation like this, very sick. So I took the child in. At that time, AIDS, though, it's a long time ago. And then she passed away. So I said, okay, now he's an orphan, we have to keep him. But there is something wrong, Kangpan. And then we discovered that he had AIDS. And it was so difficult, because these kids would eat in a sahani, and if there was a piece of meat, it's their culture. તો દાંતમાં જો કોઈને લોહી નીકળ્યું હોય તો બીજાને ગળી જાય તો disease can pass through, નહીં? It was so difficult, and out of my own this thing I chased him out of the orphanage. હું કીધું ના, આને મમ્મી નહીં રાખી શકે. It was so awful. અમે ખાવાનું આપશો એને તો એના સ્કૂલમાંથી વળી આપણા પાસે આવીને ખાવાનું ખાય ને પછી એના ઘરે જાય. And the people he was staying with, કંઈ હતા ખબર નહીં કોણ એના સગા, used to really bully him. And the funds they would get from the government for this AIDS medicine, he was hardly given. So he died. And it did happen that just before his death, 2 days, I used to remember him so much. Aziz no Sutyu, Aziz no Sutyu. And I asked him, and I was told, oh, he just died yesterday and we buried him. Malin had gone for the burial. It was so sad for me. I cried like a child. I said, why did I have to chase him out from there? And he right, but I didn't have the means. Quick, this was a new thing. Chokane AIDS hoy, so how would you take him with the others? So this was something that shook me up. Such experiences, and amama kind of up and downs to hoy, so many different experiences. This was one of the experiences I really feel bad about. So આની માં પોતે લઈ આવી તેનો બચ્ચાને. બીજી વખત કોઈક પાડોશી હોય છે, they come કે જો અમે જાણે છે આ છોકરો છે આપણા સ્ટ્રીટમાં, he is really suffering, not look after. આપણામાં છે ઇસ્લામમાં એ બીજું છે કે you can't look after the child, but you are afraid to give him to the orphanage because Marhem will be angry. So you keep the child with you, torture him, but keep him with you. એ આપણામાં બહુ છે. ક્રિશ્ચિયન્સ વાળા જલ્દી આપી દે છે. We have got many Christians. તો જ્યાં આપણા પાસે આવે છે, so they follow our religion. At least the basics બધું. Until when they are balik, then is the Malim's job to પૂછા કરે તો કેમ તકલીફ કરે છે. So far they've all been Shias. પછી ચેન્જ કર્યું તો પછી મને નથી ખબર. Then it's out of my scope. Yeah. COVID time was a very normal time for them. In Morogoro, there was no such thing as like anyajam segregation. Okay, the first few weeks, but and then it was absolutely normal. We did keep the water there, the soap. જો કોઈ આવે તો પહેલા હાથ ધોઈને પછી અંદર આવે. We taught them how to wash their hands properly, but more than that, there was no such thing. જોધાઈ ના કર્યા, કોઈ વેક્સિનેશન માટે ના ગયું. કેટલું બધું હું લોકોને સમજાવતી હતી સ્ટાફને કે તમે જાઓ, પણ કોઈક સાંભળ્યું જ નહીં. And of course they all did become sick a little bit, like the way we did, coughing ne બધું હતું, પછી everyone became well. So we did not suffer so much during the COVID time.
These orphanages, they need to be registered?
Yes. We started out just like that, but after a year, I think, was the first time that it clicked me that this thing has to be legalized. So we did not know what to do. Police department they gave us a letter to recognize us, but that is not enough. So it is a big process. I was a working woman, my husband was working, so I called up Sheikh Muslim. He's my cousin, his wife is my cousin, in Dodoma. I asked him if he could just work under his umbrella, and he more than willingly, he was very kind. He said, "Kani tame maru naam wapro, but everything has to be separate. We do not mix up our accounts. We don't do any fundraising for you, and you don't do any for us. So we are like two different entities, but you can use our name." And the name stuck. However, it is so difficult to change. બદલાવ હોય ને તો it becomes difficult. Of course, now during the years, હવે અમારું પોતાનું constitution છે, પોતાનું registration છે બધું, but the name has remained to be the same. Yeah.
If you want to spread this, then maybe you can talk
It is difficult. Don't, yes. Yeah, that is one of my weaknesses, that I think it needs to be exposed. But then I think that is someone else's commitment. Someone who would come and say, okay, I take over that job to expose it and to give pictures and એ મારું કામ મને તકલીફ પડે છે.
Those days when you get the big crowds and just take this 15-20 minutes just to motivate. Even if they are not running the orphanage, they can come as volunteers. And
That's what I would really like.
That's how we want to encourage our ladies to take part.
Yeah. I've seen there's a lot of energy in the youth.
Yes.
You know, even these small boys who were at that time, they used to come to the fun fair and help me in બધું. હવે તો મોટા થઈ ગયા છે, they have their own families, આપણા જ ખોજા છે સ્મશ્રી. But they come and they appreciate me so much and I feel, oh, એ તો નાનો હતો તે વખતે, પણ એને બધું યાદ છે, you know. So I know the youth have a lot of energy to give and a lot of ideas, very innovative. We have to tap on that. But that I feel is beyond my scope because I am so busy with running and doing everything of the orphanage. I need some help. That's the place I really do need help. It's true, very, very few people know about it because I can't talk about it. It's difficult, you know.
So my suggestion would be that everybody should spend, look for some time and visit the orphanage. Morogoro is so pretty, all surround mountainous. You see the God's beauty everywhere. It's a very fertile land, you know. You can make it a holiday, like a family outing maybe, a weekend. And then when you visit the orphanage, that's when you come to see her achievements. And that's when people who visit, then they can spread the word. Because she needs someone like an HR who can do it.
I think you're doing a good job. So you can take
Exactly.
But I seriously feel that it's because I've seen other orphanages where they are orphanages, you know. You don't know what's going on. You don't know how authentic or how. But her orphanage is really like children. I think some of them who are with their parents are not as well fed as the children at the orphanage. You know?
I try.
You know.
Whatever I get, I try.
They get their, like, believe me, they get their breakfast, they get their lunch for school and some pocket money, and she has a car to drop them to school. So they all go with Ali, the driver, the supervisor. He drops them to school, he brings them back. They have a nice lunch. If the lunch is veg, then the dinner is non-veg. So it's like that. At 4 o'clock, they have a nice glass of milk. So, I mean, they are very well looked after. They have dinner, and between 4 and 7, they have their playing time, tuition time. It's all broken up. And bedtime is around 8:30, and they're in bed, ready to wake up like early for Fajr. Weekends, they get a very nice, I would say, a very good breakfast, boiled eggs. Because weekends they are there, and they can eat well. They don't have to rush to school, and then they have time to play. We take some board games for them, sometimes some footballs which they love, or hula hoops, you know. For the girls, even sit with them, they have TV time, but even what they see is also monitored. And now we've just introduced a computer lab, not a very high-tech thing, but just to make them go on with technology. So we put those children's programs where they can spelling programs and math programs, so they can also move with with time and know a little bit about IT.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
These kids all
Most of them are without any parents. Some of them might have a mother, and that mother might want to get married, but that father doesn't want to accept the child. So પછી શું કરે? Then she has to give the child up. Yes, but most of them are without parents. They come from abused circumstances. એવા પણ કેટલા બધા છે. એક છોકરો છે, I think the mother is alive. She actually hit him so badly, she cut him up in the heart and the nerves આખા. And then the poor boy didn't get the proper physio and બધું. So also they can hardly hold the pencil. As a result, he didn't get admission in the normal school, the English medium school we send everybody. He's having to go to a normal Kiswahili medium school. So all these things are there.
they don't interfere with your inactivity.
Who the mothers? If they no, then they are getting married, they go somewhere else. In fact, the girls, what we have done is once a year, I would like them to go back to where they came from, because a case થયું હતું, એક છોકરો from પૂરું કરી, and he went back to his village. એનું જે land હતું ને, which his father had left for him, it had been taken by his uncles. He had 3 sisters in the village. કોઈ ના હતું to fight for him, but because he's finished from 4, he could fight for his rights, and then એને મળી ગયું એનું land, એની બહેનોને આપ્યું. So that's why I felt that once a year they should go back to where they came from, to the connection ray with whoever is alive there, right? So, but then I've seen that for the girls, nobody comes and picks them up. So even that 1 month in December, the 2 weeks we let them go, Elakopan they spend it with us. It just shows that girls are not wanted anywhere. Boys ne hajil આવશે લેવાને અને પછી મૂકી દેશે. After 2 weeks મળી આવશે પાછું. So December is the month that we let them go. Whoever can afford it, whoever's relatives can afford, they come and collect them. Yeah. છોકરીનો વધારે સેન્સિટિવ કેસીસ હોય છે. I love them to have games and toys. Iman લાગે છે એ ઓછું છે આપણા પાસે. Don't you think so? Whatever you send is just never enough. Toys હોય તો games, it opens up their minds, ખાસ કરીને indoor games. So Emma, if anybody wants to donate, that is where I need most things, right? Toys and games, right? બીજું બધું થઈ જાય છે પણ આ બે વસ્તુમાં. And now we are hoping to have a gym. અમે રૂમ બનાવી નાખ્યા છે. You see, the label નખાવી લીધા છે, but હજી નથી મળ્યું અમને equipment. ઇન્શાલ્લાહ એ પણ થઈ જશે. The girls? Well, I am planning primary, પછી secondary. Secondary I will not be sending them anyway. For our boys, secondary they go to Vipas. પછી holidays માં પાછા આવતા હોય છે. So 4 times a year they return. Those who are doing secondary and from 5 and 6, and then they go to colleges. Colleges much they come once a year. But with girls, I have a feeling that I'll be keeping them with me until Form 6. Form 6 બાદ they look college મળશે, then they can leave us. That is my idea, but I don't know how it will work out. હમણાં સુધી the oldest one is in Form 1. એક છે છોકરી Form 1 માં છે, બીજા બધા class 4 સુધી પહોંચ્યા છે, 4, 5. No, they study with me, but once they grow up, like for the boys, yes, yeah, till class 7 for the boys, and from class 7 we send them to Vipas to study, and then they return every holiday. Easter hoy, Christmas hoy, and the other holiday they come back to us. But of course, while they are there, we pay for their uniform, their school fees, pocket money, everything. We're in constant contact with them.
And when they're doing well in school and the reports come, they're always given an extra motivation, like some cash or something to make them feel that they've worked hard and they deserve something extra for their hard work. But at the same time, these boys and girls are very self-sufficient. Unlike, that you see them cutting meat, helping the maids with cutting the vegetables, going to the farm and helping with farming.
Yeah.
So these boys, they will, I feel as they come out, when they come out as adults, they'll be very responsible husbands or fathers because they've been exposed to everything. It's not like, okay, this is a woman's job, like I want to, but they've been doing, they're taken in the holidays, they're taken to the farm and they help the farmers, the Shamba boys with the digging, looking after the cattle, the chicken, the goats, because all that they have cows there for milking. The milk comes from the cows at the Shamba. The meat comes from the goats and the chicken. So that they all need to be looked after so they are well fed, so that they can be slaughtered. So all this is done by the boys, So they are being brought up as very young, responsible adults in the end,
Because their discipline, there's so much to learn from them. Because our children are all spoiled.
See, they can fit in any environment because they've gone through all this, you see. So it's so important.
Thank you very much. It was so hard to convince her to come. But it was a very, very modest person. I said, no, we all need that motivation. We all need to see how things move. There are a lot of challenges that she faces, but one statement that I always hear from her, I love that statement. Alhamdulillah.